Welcome to Bicester Technology Studio. My name is Roland Howard. I'm the principal. I'm deputy next door at the Bicester School as well, but spend nearly all my time over here. Next slide, please. So we're part of the Activate Learning Trust, and the two schools together are called the Bicester Learning Campus, and we are developing greater cooperation, greater links, which is why I'm from both, and teachers from both schools teach in both environments, and that gives more choice and economies of scale. BTS, we recruit in year 10, which is why I'm guessing you're year 9, and we specialize in business and entrepreneurship, or entrepreneurship and enterprise as it's called, but basically business, sciences and technology. Things have a vocational bent, though we do a full range of GCSEs. I'm not going to tell you about the Bicester School because that's not what we're here to do. Next slide, please. So our core subjects, the core is the same as the core everywhere. English and English literature is part of that, maths, GCSE, and then RS, which isn't RS because we have to do it, and that comes with our lessons and assemblies. PE, again, it's one of those things we're legally obliged to do, but it's a good thing to do as well. PSHE, which stands for Personal, Social and Health Education. And that's basically, it's not quite fair to say it's sex and drugs and rock and roll, but it's basically how you should live your life in a sane, sensible, responsible way as young adults growing up. It's got health, it's got social things, and we deliver that as an important class once a week. We also have work experience coming next year. It actually starts in year 10 this time. It hasn't really worked this year because of COVID, but the plan is that we do some year 10 work experiences of a week each, and 1 year 11 for a week as we move forward. Obviously, that's COVID dependent, but we're much more optimistic that that will get better. GCSE subjects, you've either got to do geography or history. And sorry, this hasn't quite changed, right? But we offer languages for those that want. They'd probably do it next door at the Bicester School. Religious studies, art GCSE, drama GCSE, and GCSE PE. The applied subjects, which are more vocational, it's digital IT, a BTEC in sport, a BTEC in travel and tourism, a BTEC in creative and digital media, which is kind of like media studies, where you study something and then you have to use what you've learned to make your own product. Food technology, again, we haven't got ovens over here, but that would be done at the Bicester School. And enterprise and engineering, or engineering rather, those two are part of the specialism, so you have to choose one or the other of those, so that you know that they are, one of those is compulsory, as is one of history and geography. BTEC health and social care as well. Things can change slightly depending on staffing. We may be able to add some things depending on the timetables with next door, but that's basically what it should look like next year. Next slide, please. So enterprise is one of our specialisms, and that goes alongside technology, as you can see from the Venn diagram. Employer engagement is really a key factor, and that really means work experiences and employers coming in and us emphasizing those links in as many subjects as we possibly can across the curriculum. So it means 3 different work placements. It means getting speakers from outside, from business in, or from different areas of work. The army as well come in, and it's dealt with in assembly and in preparing students for the next step, which we'd call careers education normally. The other specialism is sustainability, and we do that not to be unique, but we do that because it's important. Every school should be, but we are one of the only that I'm aware of that are doing it. We look at the environment as an issue across all subjects, bringing out where it comes into business, where it comes into technology, where it comes into geography. So we're wanting to develop that. We haven't got it quite right yet, but we're wanting to develop that for next year. Next slide. The students will tell you more about this when you hear from them, but I think it's true to say this place is a community. Everyone knows everyone. Staff really know their students, and we've got smaller classes. That's really what makes this place different, apart from the specialisms. Next slide, please. Well, here we are. We've got 3 students who are going to present to you. One's going to answer one question and then each, and then they're all going to chip in for the final. Matt, can you come and sit down? So, Matt, you've come from another school, a normal school. How's it compared with your old school?
Well, I have been to many schools in Bicester and surrounding areas, and this school is quite something. The school, as you mentioned earlier, it's a community, and it's really led me to become a better person in so many ways. It develops you emotionally, and it helps with your physical education through the PE courses and the BTEC sport that it offers. In addition to this, it also inspires maturity in the students, and the students aren't just seen as just another pupil in this school. We're seen as individuals, and the teachers recognise and understand that. You're seen as young adults, and the teachers talk to you like you're a young adult and you're not just a child. You see, the teachers offer like specialists in this school, and they help the students to grow. They also offer smaller class sizes, which is helpful because you can get all the help you want in growing your potential. Teachers recognise those with high potential, and they help work with them. And those who need help in any class, the teachers are not afraid to help. And the students, unlike in many other schools, they're not afraid to ask the teacher because they don't get shamed by the teacher. They're there to help, and they know that. The classrooms also have a very professional feel to them, and the teachers and students' relationships is very close and professional. In addition to this, the school also offers great sports that you can participate in.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Yes, and we've got a second question, which is for Daniela. We're quite strict as well, by the way. Yes. So, but the relationships are different, but we're strict when we need to be strict. Right, Daniela. So Daniela's got an amazing story. She's been here a year and a half from Romania. She has obviously had COVID. The school's been closed for a lot of that time. But from arriving just a year and a half ago with very little English, Daniela is now working at a level 7 in English. That is phenomenal. And so I guess that's partly due to smaller classes, Daniela, but can you tell us what difference smaller classes make?
The smaller classes make a huge difference because the teacher has time to explain what to do, and they explain things better when they are around you, in front of you, and make you understand the things that you need to do in an exam or an assignment or any type of work you need to do.
Do you feel the teachers really know you?
Some of them, yeah. They know my story and they know my potential.
Good,
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Daniela's a bit of a star, as is Matt. Thank you, Daniela. And Teresa, I've got a slightly different question for you. How does the atmosphere at this school, the culture, if you like, the ethos, feel different to your old school?
From moving to this school, I can tell a big difference between my old school and this school. In this school, people accept who you are and not discriminate you through and bully you, because there's a range of like ethnicities. So everyone is accepted for who they are with all their unique features or stuff. And even the teachers understand where we are with our struggles from outside point of views, from our point of views, which makes it more comfortable to be around instead of being like an outcast and anxious 24/7.
Good, excellent. And would you say it's a friendly community?
Yeah, it's much more friendly. There's not a lot of drama going on. Everything's more calm and less stress going on with everyone, because since everyone knows one another, everyone can like comfortably speak to one another without being like intense moments.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm going to ask all three of you to gather around now so that you can all answer this. What, keeping social distance if possible, and making sure you speak up because you've got a long distance to get to that microphone. Yes, so try and sum up what's been good about BTS.
So I think that the orientation towards business in this school and how they focus on enterprise, and they really push you harder in the enterprise and the engineering sectors of the school. And also I like the technology that they use in the school. All the technology is up to date, modern, and it reduces all of the loading times in the computers so that students can just get straight on with their work. I also believe that it encourages you to become more confident, as many students who came to this school, they were quiet and they were nervous to talk. But by the time you leave this school, you've had many interactions with companies and businesses and your teachers and students, and it's in a stress-free environment, so you have no pressure. And that makes you grow as a person, because then you can build on with your confidence and you can develop these employee relationships.
Thanks, Matt. What would you say is being good, Daniela, keeping your voice nice and high?
It makes good the fact that it's more and everybody knows everybody, and you can talk freely with your colleagues or your teachers without being the fear that you'll be judged. Also, is being that the small community in the classes and help you to understand things in the lesson.
Great, thank you. How about you, Teresa?
Because of the school's more comfortably to speak with, it's more easier to communicate with students and staff without hesitating to back out of it. Everyone's more comfortable around each other, so it makes it more better environment to be in and focus more steadily without feeling.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you, all three of you. You can sit down. Next slide, please. I hope you can see, because everything's not perfect. The technology isn't perfect, but we're getting there. And obviously, there's a mixture of people here, but we really feel we've made something pretty special. So, how to join? You can join, which is what you're looking to do at 14, and you've got the email address there. We're looking at 40 places, maybe slightly more. We are oversubscribed, so you need to do that really, really quickly. One thing we haven't mentioned is that the results have improved. Results are improving here all the time. And it's a strange time to judge results because of COVID and the way the exams were last year. But we think our results are going to improve again this year. So we're on our way. We're on our way. Next slide, please. So we promise to provide every student who completes their studies at BTS, we promise them the opportunity to do any of the further things. Further education, which would be going to college, maybe doing an apprenticeship at college, or other subjects, vocational subjects probably. Higher education, which could be university, to follow whatever it is you want to follow. An apprenticeship route is another thing that some of our students have done, or some students go straight into employment. You work hard here, then you will be doing one of those things, and part of it is your choice. Further education, higher apprenticeship, or a relevant job. Next slide, please. So the adult behaviors are positive, generally, firm, we're strict, and clear. The student behaviors are responsible, taking responsibility for their work, for instance, but also not doing silly stuff, respectful of others and themselves, and resilient, which is a big word for determined. Okay, and obviously I'd hope our staff are that as well. Next slide, please. So what we want our students to approach with is an open mind, or a growth mindset. A growth mindset basically doesn't see failure or even past failure as where you're going to stay. It sees failure as an opportunity to learn, specifically to learn in their subjects. And it sees hard challenges as opportunities, not as things that make you give up. And because we want kids with a growth mindset, we praise effort, not intrinsic ability. And people with a growth mindset know that their effort and their attitude will lead to their ability, increase their ability. Feedback is constructive, okay? You don't see feedback as destructive, you see it as a way to get better. A growth mindset says you like to try new things, even if you find out they're not quite right for you, but you like to try them. And if you try them and you find them difficult, you keep trying them and you will get better. That's a growth mindset. That's what we want in our students. In fact, in all people in the school. A fixed mindset says, oh, I'm just a failure. Oh, I'm good at that, or I'm bad at that. And like, that's a fixed thing. You know, you can be good at things that you are bad at. Daniela, for instance, was not good at English, and yet she's doing really, really well in English. A fixed mindset doesn't like to be stretched, doesn't like to be challenged, because they believe their potential is like a biological thing that can never change. Well, there's loads and loads of evidence that's not right. Effort, hard work, asking questions, not giving up can change a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And that's what we want all our students to have. Next slide, please. So secrets to success, I won't go on about this. Hard work, dedication, passion, loving your subject, self-discipline, failure. Why is failure a secret to success? Because that's when you learn. That's when your learning is at a new edge. You've reached the edge of your understanding. You've got something wrong. This is how your understanding will increase. Resilience, determination. We want impeccable attendance. We're about 95% in a normal year, and punctuality. Being able to ask for support and doing it in the right way. Next slide, please. So the dress code is basically formal business dress. I'm not going to chat too long about this, but it's a shirt and tie, a jacket rather than a hoodie, trousers rather than jeans, shoes rather than trainers. But we don't ask for a formal uniform with a formal badge. We just want it to be smart business dress, business wear, you could call it. And that's part of getting them ready for work. Next slide, please. We want to help our young people be these things: independent, working on stuff they don't know, engaging in the world outside and in wider reading, being motivated and accountable. That means taking responsibility, understand what they do and do not know, and learn how to address their weaknesses and to improve their achievement. I think we've done that, not with all, but with the vast majority of our students. Next slide. How you can help your son and daughter: get them somewhere to work that's quiet where they can concentrate, maybe take their phone off them, it's just a suggestion. Help them chunk their work into 30-minute sections if they're not great at concentrating, and then extend that to longer. Yeah, I've said about removing distractions, and also drinking, certain type of drinking like water when appropriate is good for study, and helping them to create a balance in their work schedule. So sometimes they're chilled out, sometimes they're playing football, sometimes they're doing homework, and sometimes they're socializing. Next slide, please. Help them become independent, not by telling them what to do, but by guiding them, using your wisdom to guide them, not instruct them. Because if they're being instructed, they're not really taking decisions, which is where the growth comes. Obviously, you instruct them about some things, you know, not to do. But in relation to work, guiding, not necessarily instructing them, we do that, but not doing it for them, but encouraging them to get help from you or advice from you, but not doing it for them. And yes, just trying to create an atmosphere where you can study and you can be focused. Next slide. So the journey to Bicester Technology Studio, I'm not going to go through. It's pretty much common sense. It's common sense turned into 10 lovely points on that roadmap. And that is there for you to look at, the procedure to get here. If students want to stay on into the sixth form, they have to get 5 5s in their GCSEs or BTECs. So that is hard work. Next slide, please. The deadlines are not right. They're a little bit out of date because of COVID. We've had to put things back, but we are still interviewing, and very shortly we're going to have to stop interviewing and then invite people to join. We've taken some early because maybe they were from the school next door, or they've made a compelling case of why this was the best for them. Most students we haven't given their acceptances yet, and because we're still interviewing, that's the reason. So if you want to interview, you've got to email us really quickly and set up an interview. Thanks. Next slide, please. And I'm going to ask the assistant head who works over here with me, Steph McNeil, in charge of business and enterprise and work-related learning and lots of other stuff, to take your questions and answer them. Thanks very much for listening.
Good evening, everybody. As Sergio said, my name is Miss McNeil, and I'm in charge of the enterprise and business element here, and also the pastoral side. So we have a few questions that have started to come in. So if I get Miss Thompson to read them out, and between us, we'll answer them as we go.
Okay, Miss. The first question we've got is, what pastoral care is there for students at BTS?
Well, fortunately, when I was looking at that and going, oh, that's me. So I look after the pastoral and behaviour at Key Stage 4, but in amongst that, we've also got help within lessons, and we have a Senko that goes across both sites, and we have got a manager of behaviour that goes across both sites as well. So we've got actually quite a big team for a small school. So we've got lots of pastoral care.
We've got a second question from a student who's currently in year 8. Who's looking to come to us in next year. They're home educated and enjoy maths and computer science. Have we had anyone join our school from home education before?
Yeah, since the school has opened each year, we've had somebody that's come in from being home educated. It's the best way, I think, is it's helped support them because it is smaller. It's not such the big gap from going from being at home to being in a really big modern secondary school. So yes, we have them in year on year.
We don't. Is there any more questions from her?
Yeah. So we got any more? So this time we've only got.
Oh, we've got another. What are the average class sizes?
So the average class sizes in year 10, we currently have. They work out to be about 17 per group. In year 11, we've got a bit of a different split where between our top set and our bottom set. We've got just over 20 in our top set, which we deem to be our biggest that we've ever had. And then there's 12 in another group. So we don't really get any bigger than about 24 in a class. But the average is somewhere around about 17, I would say.
Any more questions? No more questions.
No more questions.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Can you change your option once you've selected one? Yes, options haven't been confirmed yet.
Yeah, options haven't been confirmed and locked in yet. So at the minute, what we just need to know is what you'd be interested in so that we know that it's viable to put it on, because if we've only got one person taking it as an option, it won't run, unfortunately. So at the minute, it's just for us to see as it's viable. And when you do start, I mean, we won't lock you in for 2 years. We do have a period of a couple of weeks that if it really isn't right and what you thought, there is room for manoeuvre, but don't come in thinking that's it, I'll give everything a go for a week or 2 and then I'll go and change my entire subjects. There is room for manoeuvre, but yes, at the minute it's just an expression of interest for your options as opposed to locking it in.
No more questions?
Okay, just to add to that, we can't lock those things in because staff could leave, or there could be a lack of interest in one option, and we can't run a GCSE with 5 people in it, because it means the things that are blocked against that would have a massive class of about 35. On that cheery note, I really hope you apply, and we look forward to hearing from you really soon. Thanks, students. Thanks, Miss McNeil, and I hope that was helpful. Thank you. Bye.